Hello everyone, welcome back, and let's continue. And this is Carl, and I will introduce the hardware and wiring of solar pump inverters. Totally 4 parts will be introduced today: hardware introduction, system configuration, performance comparison, and function wiring. Now, let's look at the first part, hardware introduction of SI21, SI22, and SI23, and SI30. Those are 3 installation types of SI21 solar pump inverters, as shown in the pictures. Due to the special structure design, you could install side by side directly without space. You could also adopt real installation or side mounting. This is the wiring diagram of SI21. The AC-DC power could be input from IST terminals. When the output cable length is more than 100 meters, the output reactor is needed. There are different kinds of control terminals, such as X terminals, which can be used as a terminal start or function trigger signal, like water level control. Y terminals and TA, TB, TC relay output, which can be used for fault indicators. Also, there are AI and AO terminals that can be used for analog input and output. And we could see the physical structure of SI21 inverter. It's very small size comparing with other products and even other brands. Whole body use book design, and the air duct is street heating ventilation. That's why you could install side by side without space. You can see the layout of power terminals, control terminals, and earth terminals. The potentiometer is used for the speed or frequency control. The QR code could be scanned for product serial numbers. Below is the KBD10 keypad. That could be extended for different lengths according to the need, but only RJ45 cable is supported. Here we list the terminals number. Besides the 4X terminals, Y relay output, there is also RS485 communication terminals and 10 voltage, 24 voltage terminals. Different with SI21 that supports AC and DC power. SI22 just supports DC power input. So you could find there is just positive and negative terminals. And SI22 just has AC 220 voltage type with 10 ampere rate current. The keypad is also different. SI22 uses old KBD70 keypad. The control terminals and the power terminals are all just designed for basic using requirement. So far, power input only solar panel, no AC power. For control terminals, just 1 DI and DO terminals. Due to the one key start and stop design, there is also no built-in keypad, but we leave the RG extension interface. And you could monitor the power status, running frequency range, and fault status with different indicators. In the bottom, there are extension interfaces for the GPRS card and software downloading card. As the most popular products in the overseas market, SI23 has 220 voltage and 318 voltage models. The AC 220 voltage models is up to 5 kilowatts, and 380 voltage model is up to 710 kilowatts. You could easily find that the whole series use the book body design, which could save your cabinet and the installation size. From the 45 kilowatt, it is steel body, and below that is the plastic body. SI23 has the most rich terminals among all the VEICHI solar products. Different with SI22 and SI21, SI23 has sparing DC input and AC input terminals. The default setting of X1 and X2 terminals are for forward and reverse running. X3 and S4 are for water level control. S5 for AC-DC hybrid control. And you could check the terminals number. They are also more than the SI21 inverter. About 37 kilowatt, SI23 structure is different. Not only the plastic body is updated to the steel body, but also the standard configured keypad is updated from single line keypad to double line keypad. The double line keypad has individual potentiometer and shift keys, and you could monitor two status at the same time. SI23 wiring terminals are also specially designed, which we call Europe terminals. It is much easier to keep connection. And we can see the power terminals for different power range. I want to amplify the power about 132 kilowatt. If you dismantle the cover, just RST UVW terminals, and you cannot find the positive and negative terminals at the first time. The positive and negative terminals actually are on the top of the inverter. Just remove the screws and open the cover, and you could find them. Those are the control terminals of SI23. The two interfaces in the left side are for the extension card. If the terminals are not enough while using, you could connect the wires at the right pictures. SI30 products have the highest protection comparing with SI21, SI22, and SI23. The whole inverter adopts die-casting aluminum alloy design and integrate the heat sink together. It also uses one key start-stop, and there is 3 indicators for power, running, and fault status in the cover. The old SI30 used the modular design, and it supports the AC-DC automatic switch function. The AC-DC module is buried with the main power unit. All design models are named with BS. The modular design enables customers to select and combine according to their need. Rectifier module, inverter module, boost module, control board, and filter module are all available to configure. But this design is just up to 318 voltage, 5.5 kilowatts. For the 7.5 kilowatt and 11 kilowatt, a new model design. The model name is ended with R. New model is developed on platform of SI23. By the way, the new models also have TUV certificate. Their control boards are also different. New models provide more terminals with SI23 control board, which is much flexible to use. The external keypad are different as well. All designs use KBD 70, and new design use KBD10 or KBD300. The right side is the GPRS card, which could be used for remote control and monitoring. Now let's look at the second part. This is a wiring diagram of a 7.5 kilowatt cabinet. Usually surge protection breakers, fruits are needed for the system protection. You could check those two pictures for the real cabinet wiring. The right side is a popular design. You could find the fuse, surge, breaker, and some indicators. While designing the cabinet, heating must be considered, so please leave enough space and window seat in the both sides. Those are some typical application side of SI23 and SI30. Due to the high protection, SI30 could be used installed outdoor directly or under the solar panels. But SI23 must need a cabinet or indoor, the same to SI21 and SI22. We also list some recommended specification for the optional accessories in the cabinet. You could buy them locally according to the current and voltage range. Another important accessory is the reactor and filter, depend on different on-site considerations. Input and or output or DC reactors could be used. They are all used to restrain the harmonic current, improve efficiency, and protect the products. Usually, output reactor is needed when the motor cable length is more than 100 meters. The table shows the cable length and the reactors we recommend for different power levels. When the motor cable is more than 300 meters, output reactor of 4% reactance is recommended. When the motor cable is more than 500 meters, output filter is suggested. Here are several applications of VEICHI solar pump inverters. This shows the greenhouse fan. Usually in the greenhouse, those fans are controlled by electric cabinet. Some customers use solar pump inverters for the irrigation and install solar panels. SI23 could support AC-DC hybrid input, so they use one inverter to drive multiple fans at the same time, which could use the solar panel power at maximum. And the same to the pivot irrigation applications. Some customers use the inverter to drive the motors with one inverter, so that the PV power could be used at maximum. This is one side for the ecological project, but it could also be used for the function and oxidation system. SI30 is installed directly under the solar panels with a high protection. This picture is a constant pressure water supply. It could be used for the domestic or industrial constant pressure water system or multi pump driving system. Next, let's watch a few videos of new applications. The first video is a video of application in Morocco. also provide the calculation scheme for the solar panel configuration. Just input the field parameters and customer could get the solar panel configuration result. Several choices are recommended for the 220 voltage, 318 voltage, or 440 voltage system. I will give an example for the calculation principle. For example, the pump is 318 voltage, 11 kilowatt, and solar panel is 300 watt, 45 voltage VOC. Usually, the panel power shall be 1.2 to 1.3 times of the pump inverter pump power. If we use 1.3 as an example, totally 14.3 kilowatt solar panels are needed. Each panel is 300 watt, so it shall be around 48 pieces panels. The panel efficiency is usually around 0.81. The minimum DC bus voltage for 15 Hz running shall be 318 voltage times 1.414. So the minimum VOC is around 663 voltage, and the max VOC shall be less than the inverter input range. Here we take 720 voltage as an example. Each panel is 45 voltage VOC, so at least 15 pieces are needed in serial connection, and maximum 16 pieces in one string. Now, we could calculate the strings number. Totally 48 pieces is needed, and one string is for 15 or 16 pieces. 3 strings shall be enough. We could verify the result. 16 pieces in a string, 3 strings. Total power is 14.4 kilowatts, and the power factor is more than 1.3. VOC is 720 voltage, and it is also within the range. Okay, now I will do some comparison between VEICHI and other brands. If we compare with competitors' product, VEICHI SI23 supports hybrid input and DC input. DC input range is also higher. The 318 voltage is standard 800 voltage maximum and optional 900 voltage maximum. The AC 220 voltage models allow maximum DC input 415 voltage. The power range of SI23 can reach a maximum of 710 kilowatts, which is also seldom in the market. By the way, VEICHI have more protection functions, such as pump cleaning function, low frequency protection, water level control, and so on. We are also applying the TOV certificate for SI23, and I think that will be another advantage in the future. Our size is more advantageous, saving installation speeds for our customer. For the high protection model of competitors, they just have AC 220 voltage models, but which has 3-phase 318 voltage and AC 220 voltage models. And the AC 318 voltage models is designed with maximum 900 voltage DC input. The SI30 now already has TOE certificate, which can help customers get more government projects. The last part is about some function wirings. SI21, SI22, SI23, and SI30 all support GPRS start, terminal, keypad start, but SI22 and SI30 need external keypad, and they also have one-button start-stop function. For the terminal start, you could use a switch between the X1 and COM terminal in the control board. Set F00.02 to 1, F02.00 to 1. This is an AC-DC switching solution. First, if you only use AC power, you need to set parameters F14.00 to 0 VFD model. Second, if you only use DC power, F14.00 to 2 MPPT model. Third, AC-DC manual switch need to set F14.00 to 2. Use a changeover to select AC-DC power. And fourth, AC-DC hybrid. If the customer needs the AC to be connected all the time, and whenever DC is lines, AC will be compensated. You could set F02.04 to 82. Connect at 5 and COM with NO electric contact. When AC power is connected, NO will become NC, and it will give a signal to S5 terminal. The machine is then automatically connected to AC power. If you need to control the frequency when the AC power is connected, you could use a sunlight sensor to control it. And the last one is only the old SI30 support automatic AC-DC switching. BS model, which is less than 5.5 kilowatts. This is physical value of the AC-DC switching solution at the customer side. The left is the manual switching of physical wiring diagram. The middle is a contactor. AC received T1, T2, T3, S5 and COM received NO. When the signal over, X5 will give a signal to the machine, and then the parallel page PPT fourth point of the theme. The most side of diagram is the physical wiring diagram. If we use AC-DC switching solution with sensors, as shown above, that sensor detects the intensity of radiation and outputs 4 to 20 amp signal to the inverter when the AI1 is less than the set value. Last for a certain time, relay KA and KM will be on. and AC will be connected with the inverter. When sunlight is better and AI is high, after the time F02.48 relay, and the contactor will be off, and the AC will be disconnected with the inverter. For the constant pressure water supply system, if your setting pressure is 3 bar and actual pressure is 2.6 bar, and the inverter will stop, the pressure sensor in the diagram is 2-wire 1, wired in such a way that AI and 24 voltage are connected to the pressure sensor, and GND and COM are connected together. And this is dry running protection solution. When the well is empty, the output current will decrease. When the output current is lower than setting value, dry running protection will be triggered. When the downhole liquid level sensor detects water shortage, the frequency converter will enter into dry protection. For the water level control function, due to the different well type and sensor type, I will introduce the control logic of the function at first. When the sensor does not touch water, we name it status 0. When the water reaches the sensor level, we name it status 1. And we could find no matter when the water level rising or decreasing, inverter will be run when they are both 0. Stop when they are both 1. So for the 3 wires, just connect S3, S4, and if they are 2-wire sensor or others, you could obey the logic principles. And this is signal sensor full protection, full water protection. When the liquid level is in the user water tank is higher than the expect, the drill will give an alarm so that the liquid level will not rise. Protect the water tank from overflowing and water resources from wasting. And next is the parameter setting of SI23 and SI30. And the last one is double sensor for water protection. When the water level is higher than the high level sensor, it enters the water full protection. When the water level drops to the low level sensor, the inverter starts running. And that's all, thanks. And next, welcome the tuners.